The zip ties had left marks. Amanda stared at her wrists, raw, red, angry, and tried to remember how to breathe. They just cut her loose and removed the bag from her face, and she'd seen this office for the first time. Floor-to-ceiling windows, mahogany desk, a man in a suit that looked too good for his age. Early 40s, she guessed. Sit down, Amanda. Her legs wouldn't move. The man behind the desk knew her name. That was worse than the kidnapping somehow. Worse than the SUV or the men, or the fact that no one knew where she was. He knew her name. I said sit. She sat. The chair was leather. Expensive. Wrong. He pulled out a folder, slid it across the desk like he was offering her a drink. Casual. Easy. Amanda's hands shook as she opened it. Photos, dozens of them, men in cars outside her dorm, men following her to class, men watching her through coffee shop windows. Her stomach turned over. Why am I here? The words came out broken. What do you want? Your father stole from the wrong people. My father works at a warehouse. My warehouse. He cut her off, clean, sharp. And he didn't just steal from me. More photos. Different men, harder faces, Russian, Chinese. She could tell by their clothes, their cars, the way they held themselves. 3 organizations. His voice was flat, dead. $1 million. The number punched the air from her lungs. That's not... He wouldn't... Days ago, he ran. The man leaned back. Left you behind to deal with this shit. Amanda's vision blurred. Her father had missed dinner. Twice. Said he was working late. She'd believed him because she was stupid. Because she trusted him. Because... They know about you now. The words snapped her back. Who? Everyone. He gestured to the photos. Russians. Chinese. Me. What do they want? But she knew. Could see it in the way he looked at her. Like she was already dead. You. Amanda stood so fast the chair hit the wall. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. He slid his phone across the desk. She grabbed it, stopped. The Russians will take you before you reach the precinct. His voice didn't change, didn't need to. The Chinese will be waiting at your dorm. I won't hurt you, you can be sure of that. But they'll torture you until your father surfaces. That is, if he surfaces. You understand? Her hand was shaking so hard the phone nearly slipped. Those men in the photos. He poured whiskey, crystal glass, steady hand. They've been waiting for their moment. I just got to you first. So you're saving me? The words tasted like poison. No. He drank. I'm using you. The honesty knocked the breath from her chest. Your father made you a target. He messed with the wrong people. He set down the glass. His eyes were empty, cold. He owes me 400,000. Owes the Chinese and Russians 600,000. Then find him. Her voice cracked. This isn't my fault. Doesn't matter. You're his daughter. That makes you currency. Amanda's knees went weak. Currency. Not a person. Just something to be traded. I'm a student. You're bait. He opened her file. Started reading like she wasn't even there. 19 years of age. Music composition major at Juilliard. Full scholarship from Nigeria. He looked up. Your father brought you here 2 years ago. Got you that scholarship. Built you a future. Every word felt like a slap. Then he destroyed it by stealing from us. Who are you? My name is Baek-si Hyun. He closed the file. Head of the Korean Mafia in New York. The name hit her like ice water. Everyone knew that name. Whispers in Korean restaurants and even from her friends in school. Stories that ended in blood. Amanda's throat closed. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. So what? You're just going to keep me here? Yes. For how long? Until your father surfaces, or until I decide what to do with you. The casual way he said it made her want to vomit. "I want to go home," she said. "There is no home." He stood, walked to the window. "The moment you step outside, you're dead. Or worse. This is your reality now." Something in his voice made her look up, made her see him, really see him. For the first time, tired eyes, expensive suit hiding something darker. Something almost like regret. Why? The question came out raw. "Why are you doing this?" Long pause. Something flickered across his face, there and gone. "Because I don't torture 19-year-old girls." He walked back to his desk. "They do." Amanda stared at him. This man who'd kidnapped her, stalked her, who was somehow the only thing standing between her and worse monsters. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. You stay here. You follow my rules. You stay alive. That's it. That's it. And if I refuse, then I open that door and you take your chances with Volkov." His eyes held hers. "Your choice." It wasn't a choice. They both knew it. Si-hyun pulled out papers, slid them across. "These are employment contracts. On record, you work for my business, came here voluntarily." "That's a lie." "It's survival." He dropped a pen on top. "Sign or leave. Decide now." Amanda looked at the papers, at her name already typed in. Her hands trembled. "I have a scholarship." Her voice broke. "I have school. I have a future at Juilliard." "You had a future." Si-hyun's voice was flat, cold. "Your father took that when he stole from me. Now you have this. Sign or walk out that door. Those are your only options." Tears burned behind her eyes. She refused to let them fall. Her hand shook as she picked up the pen. Each signature felt like dying. Slowly, one letter at a time. Si-hyun took the papers without looking at them, pressed a button on his desk. A guard appeared, scarred face, cold eyes. "Take her to her room." Amanda stood. Her legs barely held her. At the door, she turned back and looked at him again. Si-hyun poured more whiskey. Didn't look at her. The guard's grip was firm on her elbow, leading her away, down a hallway that smelled like money and violence. He opened a door at the end of the hallway, gestured for her to enter. The room was so big. Bedroom, sitting area, bathroom with marble counters and a tub that could fit 3 people, windows with a view of manicured gardens and high walls topped with cameras. Beautiful, expensive, wrong. "Mr. Beck will send for you when he needs you." Young-tae's voice was gravel. "Don't try to leave the estate." "Or what?" He looked at her like she was already dead. "Or you'll wish you'd stayed." The door closed. No lock, no click, just silence. Amanda stood in the middle of the room and tried to remember how to breathe. Her suitcase sat on the bed, the one from her dorm. They'd packed her things, gone through her life like it was theirs to take. She walked to the window, pressed her palm against the glass. It was cool, real. She could open it if she wanted, could climb out, could run. But his words echoed in her head. "The Russians will take you before you reach the precinct." Her phone was gone, her laptop, her life reduced to a room with expensive furniture and clothes that fit too well. Amanda sat on the edge of the bed, stared at the wall, and for the first time since the zip ties, she let herself cry. Hours passed, maybe days. Time felt wrong here, broken. The light through the windows changed, golden to grey to dark. She didn't move, didn't eat, didn't think, just existed in the hollow space her father had left behind. A knock on the door made her jump. She didn't answer. The door opened anyway. Si-hyun stood in the doorway with a tray. Food, rice, vegetables, grilled meat. The smell made her stomach turn. "You need to eat." Amanda looked away. "I'm not hungry." "I don't care." He set the tray on the table, pulled out a chair, sat down like he had all the time in the world. Eat. Get out. No. She turned to face him. He looked exactly the same, perfectly tailored suit, cold eyes, but something was different. The way he sat, relaxed, patient, like he'd done this before. You can't force me. I can. He leaned back. But I'd rather not. So eat. Amanda wanted to scream, wanted to throw the tray at his face, but she was tired, so tired. She picked up the chopsticks, took a bite. The food tasted like nothing. Si-hyun watched her, didn't speak, just waited. She forced down 3 more bites, set the chopsticks down. Happy? No. But he stood, moved towards the door. Amanda's voice stopped him. My father. When you find him, what will you do to him? Si-hyun's hand paused on the doorknob. Long silence. That's not your concern. He's my father. It is my concern. He turned, looked at her with those empty eyes. Will you kill him? Another pause. Longer this time, probably. The word hung in the air like smoke. Casual, easy. Like he was discussing the weather. Amanda's throat closed. And me? What happens to me after? That depends. On what? He studied her face, like he was trying to solve a puzzle, figure out something he didn't understand. Get some rest. He left before she could ask anything else. The door clicked shut. Amanda stared at the food, at her father's death sentence cooling on the plate, and she didn't know how to feel. The days blurred together. Morning light, afternoon shadows, evening darkness, all the same, all empty. Si-hyun came every night with dinner. Same routine, same cold efficiency. He'd set the tray down, sit, wait until she ate, then leave. They barely spoke, but Amanda noticed things. The way his eyes lingered on her face, checking for something she couldn't name. How he always made sure she finished at least half the plate before he'd leave. The fact that he came himself, never sent guards, never delegated this one task. One night, she asked him, Don't you have people for this? Yes. Then why do you keep coming? He stood, picked up the tray. Because I need to know you're eating. Why do you care? Long pause. His jaw tightened. I don't. But he did. She could see it in the way his hand gripped the tray, in the way he wouldn't look at her when he said it. He left without another word. By the second week, Amanda was losing her mind. No phone, no music, no contact with anyone except a man who wouldn't talk, and guards who looked through her like she was already gone. She paced her room, counted tiles on the ceiling, tried to remember her compositions. The melodies slipped away like water through her fingers. One night, she stood in front of the mirror, stared at her reflection, barely recognized the girl looking back, eyes hollowed out, face gaunt, like she was fading. She couldn't sleep, laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence. It pressed down on her chest, made it hard to breathe. Then she heard it. Music, faint, coming from somewhere below. She sat up, heart racing for the first time in days. The melody was classical, Chopin maybe, played beautifully, perfectly. Amanda got out of bed, opened her door. The guards were there, always there. But they didn't stop her when she walked past. She followed the sound, through the hallway. The music got louder with each step, pulled her forward like a thread. A door at the end of a corridor, slightly open, light spilling out. Amanda stopped outside, peered in. Si-hyun sat at a grand piano. His jacket was off, sleeves rolled up, fingers moving across the keys, like he'd been born doing this. The piece was complicated, technical, but he played it like breathing. She'd never expected this, never expected him to have this inside him. The music stopped. You can come in. Amanda froze. He hadn't turned around, hadn't looked. but he'd known she was there the whole time. She pushed the door open, stepped inside. The room was different from the rest of the mansion. Warm, lived in, books on shelves, sheet music scattered across surfaces. A space that felt like someone actually existed here. "You play," she said. "Used to." He still didn't look at her. She wanted to know how he learned to play, but she didn't ask. "You play too." "Juilliard." Not a question. "I did." Her voice was sharp. "Before you destroyed my life." He almost smiled. Almost. Fair. Si-hyun stood, moved away from the piano. "Play something." "I don't want to." It wasn't a request. Amanda's jaw clenched. Everything with him was an order, a command, even this. But she sat, put her hands on the keys, and started playing. The piece was one she'd been working on at Juilliard. Her own composition. Dark, angry, full of everything she couldn't say. She poured it into the music. Every ounce of rage, every moment of fear, every second of grief for the life she missed. The notes became violence, became pain, became something raw and bleeding and real. When she finished, silence filled the room. Amanda looked up. Si-hyun was watching her, something in his eyes she couldn't read, couldn't name. The way he looked surprised her, made something in her chest twist. He moved closer, sat beside her on the bench. Too close. She could smell whiskey and something else, something expensive and dangerous. "My brother played," he said quietly, "and taught me when we were kids." Amanda turned to look at him. What happened to him? His jaw tightened. He died years ago. How? Car accident. He stared at the keys. Wasn't an accident. Rival organisation. Hit meant for me. First real information he'd given her. First crack in the armour. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." His voice was flat, empty. "It was my fault." The admission hung between them. Amanda didn't know what to say, didn't know if she should say anything. The silence was different now, less hostile, more human. Si-hyun stood, looked down at her. "You can use this room. Any time. The piano. The space." "Why?" He moved toward the door, stopped, didn't turn around. "Because I can take everything else from you, but not this." He left. Amanda sat alone at the piano, trying to understand what just happened. He'd shown her something real, his brother, his guilt, his humanity. The ice had cracked, just a little, but enough to make him dangerous in a different way, not as her captor, as a person. And she didn't know which was worse, and so the music room became hers. He still brought dinner every night, still watched her eat. But something had shifted after the piano. They talked now. Small things, careful things. He asked about her compositions. What inspired them? What made her get into music? She asked about his brother. What songs he'd loved. What he'd been like before. The ice was melting, slowly. But Amanda reminded herself every night. She was still a prisoner. Days after the piano, morning came with something new. Voices downstairs. Loud, energetic, laughter. Amanda hadn't heard laughter in this house, ever. She left her room, moved toward the sound, down the stairs into the massive foyer. A young man stood there with luggage, early 20s, jeans and a college sweatshirt, bright eyes, alive in a way that didn't belong in this cold place. He saw her, smiled wide. "Oh, hi there, Minjay." Si-hyun's voice cut through the air like a knife. He stood in the hallway, expression tight, controlled, but Amanda could see the anger underneath. The young man turned. "Uncle, semester break, dorms closed, you said I could stay. I said we'd discuss it. We're discussing it now." Minjay grinned, turned back to Amanda. "I'm Minjay, his nephew. You are." Amanda glanced at Si-hyun. His eyes were a warning, a command. "Amanda, I'm..." A guest, Minjay's eyebrows shot up. A guest? Uncle never has guests. You remember your room? Si-hyun's voice left no room for argument. Go. Then to Amanda. My office, now. Si-hyun moved to the bar, poured whiskey, drank it in one swallow, poured another. You say nothing to him. About what? About why you're here, about your father, about the Russians or Chinese. He turned to face her. Nothing. Amanda crossed her arms. Why not? His voice dropped. Dangerous. Because he doesn't know what I really do. Thinks I run a legitimate business. I've kept him away from all of this. Si-hyun drank. And I'm going to keep it that way. He must suspect. Suspecting and knowing are different. His grip tightened on the glass. You tell him nothing. If he asks why you're here, you're a temporary guest, that's all. And if he asks more, you lie. Convincingly. His eyes burned into hers. So I just avoid him. Be polite. Be distant. Don't get close. He refilled his glass. Third pour. He's here for 2 weeks. Then he goes back to school. You can manage 2 weeks. And so she kept her distance. For 3 days, she avoided Minjay, ate breakfast in her room, stayed in the library when she heard his voice, played piano only when she was sure he was gone. Si-hyun's warning echoed in her head. Don't get close. Don't tell him anything. She saw Minjay in passing, in hallways. He tried to make conversation, asked her questions. How long was she staying? Where was she from? Did she like New York? He seemed confused by her coldness, but he didn't push, just smiled, stayed friendly. That should have been a warning. The fourth evening, Amanda went to the music room. Late. After dinner. After she was sure Minjay had gone to bed, she needed this. Needed to lose herself in something that wasn't fear or captivity or the weight of Si-hyun's eyes watching her constantly. She sat at the piano, started playing, her own composition, the one she'd been working on for weeks now, dark, complicated, full of everything she couldn't say out loud. The notes filled the room, surrounded her, let her breathe. She didn't hear the door. Open. That's beautiful. Amanda's hands froze on the keys. Minjay stood in the doorway, casual, comfortable, like he'd been invited. Sorry. He came in without waiting for permission. Didn't mean to interrupt. I heard the music and... He gestured vaguely. Couldn't help myself. She should tell him to leave. Should follow Si-hyun's orders. But she was so tired of being alone. It's fine. Minjay sat on the couch near the piano. Not too close. Careful. You're really good. Like, seriously good. Professional level. Thanks. You study music? He asked. Used to. What happened? Amanda hesitated. Family stuff. I had to take time off. He nodded like he understood. That sucks. But Uncle's place is nice at least. If only he knew. My dad used to play too. That's actually how I knew you were good. You play like he did. Like it means something. The compliment settled over her. Warm. Genuine. The word hung in the air. Important. I'm just... The door slammed open. Si-hyun stood there. His expression was fury barely contained. Minjay, please excuse us. Sure thing, Uncle. The door closed behind him. Silence like a blade. Si-hyun didn't move from the doorway, just stared at her, chest rising and falling like he'd been running. I told you to stay away from him. I was just playing piano. He came to me. I don't care. He moved into the room, slow, dangerous. What did he say to you? Nothing. Just talked about you, about his father. What else? Nothing. Si-hyun stopped in front of the piano, too close. His hands gripped the edge, knuckles white. Amanda's breath caught. I told you to be distant, to give him nothing, and you're in here playing piano for him like... He stopped, jaw clenched so hard she thought it might break. Like what? Like you're not mine to protect. The words hit her like a fist. Mine! I'm not yours! Yes, you are. He looked at her finally, eyes burning. I'm the one keeping you alive. You're mine, whether you like it or not. The possessiveness should terrify her, should make her want to run. But instead, her heart raced for a completely different reason. Then, what's the problem? Her voice came out quieter than she intended. If I'm yours, why does it matter if I talk to Minjay? Long silence. Si-hyun's jaw worked like he was fighting something inside himself. Because I don't like him spending time with you. Why not? Because... He stopped, looked away. Because you're close in age, and I don't want that. The admission hung between them. Amanda stood, moved closer. You're jealous. His eyes snapped to hers, dark, dangerous. Yes, I'm jealous. Because every time he gets close to you, I remember he's 22 and I'm 40. That he's innocent and I'm not. That you should be with someone like him instead of... He cut himself off, turned away. Instead of what? Instead of a man who kidnapped you, who threatens you, who's old, enough to know better. The confession settled over them like smoke. Si-hyun walked to the window, put distance between them like he didn't trust himself. Stood there for several seconds, and he just left without saying another word. The door closed. Amanda stood alone in the music room, trying to process what just happened. Si-hyun was jealous, possessive, obsessed because she and Minjay were the same age, because Minjay was what she should want, young, normal, innocent, not a 40-year-old man who'd destroyed her life to save it. And the worst part, the part that terrified her, she didn't want Minjay, she wanted Si-hyun. He just admitted he's jealous of his own nephew, a 40-year-old Mafia boss losing control over a 19-year-old girl he kidnapped to protect. You felt that tension, didn't you? The way he can't stand seeing her smile at someone her own age. The way he knows it's wrong, but can't stop himself. If you stop here, I assure you, you will have dreams wondering how this story ended, so stay till the end, because this story is not one of your regulars. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel for more stories where love is dangerous, obsessive, and worth every risk. Drop a comment. Team Si-hyun, or is this man too far gone? Back to the story, because Minjay's about to surprise us all. Amanda didn't see Si-hyun for the rest of the night, or the next morning. His absence felt heavier than his presence. She stayed in her room, replayed his words. Around noon, a knock on her door. She opened it. Si-hyun stood there. Different somehow. His hair wasn't perfectly styled. Shirt unbuttoned at the collar. I want to take you somewhere. Outside. Amanda's heart stopped. What? Outside. The city. She stared at him. Weeks of captivity, and now he was just offering freedom. Why? Long pause. Are you coming or not? What about the Russians? The Chinese? I'll keep you safe. His eyes met hers. She wanted to say no. But God, she was desperate to leave. Where are we going? You'll see. Get ready. We leave in an hour. Si-hyun. He stopped. Thank you. He nodded once and left. Downstairs, Minjay watched, saw Si-hyun give orders, saw Amanda come down, saw them head for the garage. Uncle, where are you going? Si-hyun glanced at him with a smile. Business. Stay here. We will be back soon. The door closed. Minjay pulled out his phone, opened the tracking app. The red dot moved through the city, the tracker he'd planted days ago. He dialed. It's me. He's taking her out. I'm tracking them. I'll send the location when they stop. Pause. Yes. Wait for my signal. He watched the dot move, then stop. He sent the location. The city looked different in daylight. Amanda pressed her face to the window. Buildings, people, life. Where are we going? She asked. You'll see. Si-hyun drove. Young-tae followed in the car behind. 20 minutes later, they parked. Small Korean restaurant, quiet, private. Inside, they were shown to a back room. They sat, ordered. Amanda watched him across the table. Why are you really doing this? Long silence. Because I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. I'm apologizing for everything else. For taking you, for keeping you locked up, for being 40 and jealous because my nephew can make you smile and I can't. You make me smile, she said quietly. His eyes darkened. When? When you played the piano? When you bring me dinner every night, even though you have people who could do it? Silence. Charged. They ate. Talked about what New York was like before. For the first time, they felt like two people, not captor and captive. Amanda almost forgot the danger. Si-hyun paid. They stood to leave. There's one more place I want to show you. They were about to walk to his car. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Young-tae tensed. Hand moved to his jacket. Si-hyun noticed. What? Tires screeched. Black SUVs whipped around corners. Russian plates. Chinese cars from the other direction. They'd been waiting. Men poured out with guns. Young-tae yelled, "Get down!" Gunfire erupted. Si-hyun grabbed Amanda. Young-tae returned fire. "We need backup! Now!" More of Si-hyun's men arrived. Gunfire from both sides. Chaos. Amanda couldn't breathe. Si-hyun pressed her against a car, his body covering hers. "Stay down!" How did they know? His voice was raw. How did they fucking know we'd be here? Russians and Chinese working together. Coordinated. Someone had told them. Bullets hitting concrete. Young-tae covering them. 10 feet from his car. 5. Amanda heard it. The crack of a rifle. Sharper. Cleaner. From above. Sniper. She looked up. Saw the glint on a rooftop. Saw the barrel aimed at Si-hyun's chest. Time slowed. She threw herself in front of him. The bullet hit. Her chest exploded in pain. She fell. Si-hyun caught her. His face was horrified. "No, no, Amanda!" More gunfire, sirens, but all Amanda could focus on was the pain. White hot. She couldn't breathe. Si-hyun's hands pressed against the wound. Blood everywhere. Why would you? She tried to speak. Couldn't. Vision blurred. "Stay with me." His voice breaking. "Please, Amanda, stay with me." She wanted to tell him it was okay, that she chose this, chose him, but the words wouldn't come. Young-tae was there, ripping off his jacket, pressing it to her chest. More men arrived, shooting intensified. Russians and Chinese retreating, but Amanda was dying in Si-hyun's arms. "I'm sorry. This is my fault." Her hand found his, squeezed weakly. She wanted to say, "I chose you." Wanted to say, "Don't blame yourself." Wanted to say, "I don't regret it." But her vision was fading. Sirens screamed closer. Her eyes closed. She heard him screaming her name. Heard Young-tae yelling at paramedics. Then nothing. Just darkness. The waiting room smelled like disinfectant and death. Si-hyun sat with blood drying on his hands. Amanda's blood. Young-tae leaned against the wall, bandage on his shoulder. He'd taken a bullet too, but refused to leave. Hours passed. Si-hyun couldn't sit still. Paced. Stopped. Paced again. Kept replaying it. The crack of the rifle. Amanda throwing herself in front of him. Why would she do that? Why would she save him? The door opened. Doctor in scrubs. Tired eyes. Blood on his gloves. Si-hyun was on his feet. "Is she alive?" The doctor pulled off his mask. Bullet missed her heart by centimetres. She's critical but stable. Si-hyun's knees almost gave out. "Can I see her?" "She's unconscious. Might be for days." "I don't care. Let me see her." The doctor nodded and directed him to her room. The room was quiet except for machines. Beeping, breathing, living. Amanda lay in the bed, tubes in her arms, oxygen mask, bandages across her chest. She looked so small, fragile, breakable. Si-hyun sat in the chair beside her, took her hand. First time he'd touched her gently, without command, without control, just touched her. The realization hit him like the bullet that should have killed him. He loved her. Not because she was valuable, not because he was responsible, because she was her, Amanda, the girl who played piano and fought him even when she was terrified, who threw herself in front of a bullet meant for him. He was in love with a 19-year-old girl he'd kidnapped. He was in love with someone who should hate him, and it was going to destroy them both. But he couldn't stop it. He kissed her forehead, stood, left before he broke completely. Dawn broke as Si-hyun pulled up to the mansion to get a change of clothes. Jung-tae and several guards had stayed at the hospital, guarding Amanda. The house was quiet, empty. Si-hyun moved through rooms that suddenly felt too big, too cold. Someone had betrayed him. Someone had told the Russians and Chinese exactly where they'd be. He went through his security in his head, his men, his contacts. Who knew? Who could have... A voice, faint, coming from Minjay's room. Si-hyun moved quietly, hand on his gun. The door was cracked. He pushed it open. Minjay stood by the window, phone to his ear. Yes, she's alive. She took the bullet. No, I don't know when she'll wake up. He's at the hospital. Yes, I'll keep you updated. Si-hyun's blood turned to ice. He stepped into the room. Minjay spun around, saw his uncle. Face went white. The phone slipped from his hand. Uncle! Si-hyun moved fast, grabbed Minjay by the throat, slammed him against the wall. It was you. Not a question. A fact. You told them where we were. Minjay struggled. I can explain. Explain? Si-hyun's voice was rage, pure, lethal. What the fuck did you do? He threw Minjay to the floor. Minjay hit hard, blood from his lip, looked up at his uncle with pure hatred. I was thinking about killing you. Si-hyun froze. That dumb bitch jumped in front of you, and now she's dying because of what you made her feel for you. He continued. What did I do to you? Don't pretend. Minjay stood slowly. That accident. You killed my father. It was supposed to be you in that car, but you sent him instead. You sacrificed your brother to save yourself. That's not what happened. Liar! Minjay screamed. I've spent years planning how to get you back. So you tried to have me killed. Si-hyun stared at his nephew, the boy he'd raised, the boy he'd loved. Your father died because of a rival organization, not me. I don't believe you. I don't care if you believe me. Si-hyun's voice went cold. Dead. But you just gave me exactly what I need. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. I know who the traitor is. Come to my nephew's room. 2 guards entered. Grabbed Minjay. What are you doing? Minjay struggled. You wanted to work with the Russians and Chinese. Fine. Si-hyun's smile was deadly. You're going to help me kill them all. I won't. Then I'll forget your family and kill you right now. Si-hyun's voice was ice. Your choice. Minjay went pale. What do you want? You're going to call your Russian friends. Tell them I'm moving Amanda to a safe house tonight. Give them the location. Tell them it's their last chance. You're setting a trap. Yes, and you're the bait. That night, abandoned warehouse in Red Hook. Si-hyun's men positioned themselves everywhere. Rooftops, inside, surrounding. Jung-tae at his side, armed, ready. Minjay sat in the center, tied to a chair, phone on speaker. He called Dimitri first. It's me. He's moving her tonight. Warehouse in Red Hook. Sending location now. Inform the Chinese. Si-hyun watched from the shadows. He still didn't know what to do with his nephew, though. He would think about that later. His enemies needed to die tonight. All of them. Cars arrived 30 minutes later, Russians from the west, Chinese from the east, both armed, both ready. They entered the warehouse, saw Minjay tied up. Dmitri shouted, "It's a trap!" But it was too late. Lights flooded on. Si-hyun's men everywhere. Guns aimed from every angle. Si-hyun stepped out of the shadows. Gunfire erupted. Massive, brutal, fast. Si-hyun ordered his men to save his nephew. Young-tae beside him, firing, covering. Russians fired back. Chinese tried to escape. Bodies dropped. Bullets everywhere. Dmitri went down. Si-hyun shot him himself. Within minutes, it was over. Russians dead. Chinese dead. Young-tae and his men checking bodies. Minjay stepped forward to his uncle. "Did you really not kill him?" "No. I loved your father." Tears in Minjay's eyes. "I'm sorry for everything, uncle. Can you forgive me?" Then, a Chinese soldier, wounded, dying, raised his gun, aimed at Minjay, pulled the trigger. Bullet hit Minjay in the chest. Si-hyun shot the soldier, too late. Minjay was bleeding out. Looked up at his uncle, his eyes closed. Minjay died in Si-hyun's arms. Si-hyun stood slowly, looked around at the bodies. Russians, Chinese, his nephew, all dead. The war was over. His phone rang. One of his men, the one he'd left at the hospital. "She's awake." Si-hyun turned to Young-tae. "Clean this up, all of it." Young-tae nodded. Si-hyun looked down at Minjay's body one last time. "Take care of him. He gets a proper burial." "Yes, sir." Si-hyun ran. He burst through the hospital doors. He ran through the halls and got to her room. Pushed open the door. Amanda was awake, sitting up slightly. Weak, pale, but alive. She saw him. Relief flooded her face. "You're alive." "So are you." He sat beside her bed, took her hand, couldn't speak for a moment, just looked at her, breathing, living. "I almost died without telling you how I felt." Si-hyun froze. "Amanda." "No, let me say this." She squeezed his hand, weak but determined. "Somewhere along the way, I fell for you. I don't know when, but I did." Tears in her eyes. "And I took that bullet because I couldn't watch you die." Si-hyun's face broke. "You shouldn't have. You shouldn't feel anything for me." "But I do." "I know." His voice cracked. "And that's the problem." Silence. "I love you. God help me. I love you." Amanda's breath caught. "Then why does that sound like goodbye?" Long pause. "Because it is." Her heart shattered. "What?" "I'm 40 years old. You're 19. I kidnapped you, destroyed your life, almost got you killed." His voice was pain, raw. "The bullet that hit you was meant for me. You almost died because of me. I chose that. You shouldn't have had to choose." He stood, paced. "When you're healed, I'm sending you away. Somewhere safe. Somewhere you can continue your music." Tears streamed down Amanda's face. "And if I don't want to go?" "You don't have a choice, Amanda." His voice was firm, final. "You're 19. You have your whole life ahead of you. I'm giving it back. I don't want it without you." "You'll have to." "Si-hyun, rest now." He leaned down, kissed her forehead. "We'll talk when you're stronger." Weeks passed, still no word from her father, and she couldn't care less. Si-hyun came every day, brought her food, sat with her, watched her heal, but he kept distance, held her hand, nothing more, wouldn't let himself get close. Amanda tried to change his mind, but he'd made his decision, wouldn't budge. The day she was discharged, everything was arranged: apartment in another city, enrollment in a music program, new life. But Si-hyun didn't take her. Young-tae did. He couldn't. Young-tae said simply as they drove. Amanda understood. If Si-hyun came, he wouldn't be able to leave her. They drove for hours. Different city, smaller, quieter. Young Tai showed her the apartment. Small, clean, piano in the corner. Everything you need is here. School starts in 2 weeks. Amanda looked around. It was perfect, and it was killing her. Tell him. She stopped. What could she say? Young Tai just nodded. He knows. Then he was gone. Amanda stood alone in her new apartment. Si-hyun couldn't even say goodbye. Time passed. Weeks, then months. Amanda enrolled in the music program, attended classes, composed. Her apartment overlooked a park. She had everything Si-hyun promised: freedom, safety, music. But she was hollow. She thought about him every day, wondered if he thought about her, wondered if he'd moved on, before she couldn't. One evening she sat at the piano, playing the piece she'd written at his mansion, the one about loss, about wanting something you couldn't have. She stopped, never could finish it, not without him. A knock on the door. Amanda wasn't expecting anyone. She opened it. Si-hyun stood there, looking older somehow, tired, but alive. Hi. Amanda couldn't breathe. What are you doing here? Long pause. He looked at her like he was memorizing her face. I tried to stay away, tried to let you have your life back. His voice broke. But I can't. I can't live without you. Tears filled her eyes. Then, why did you leave? Because I thought it was the right thing. Because you deserved better than me. He stepped closer. But I was wrong. I gave you time to live, to find yourself, to make sure this wasn't just trauma or fear or gratitude. His voice cracked. Tell me you've moved on. Tell me you've found someone better. Tell me to leave. Amanda was crying now. I can't. Why not? Because I've been waiting for you. Every single day. Si-hyun pulled her into his arms, held her like she was the only thing keeping him alive. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. You were an idiot. He laughed. Actually laughed. Yeah, I was. They kissed. Desperate. Real. Everything they'd been holding back. When they pulled apart, foreheads touching. What happens now? Amanda whispered. Now you finish school. You compose. You live your life. And you? I stay. If you'll have me. I don't care that you're older. I don't care about any of it. You should. But I don't. She kissed him again. I chose you. With whatever comes, Si-hyun pulled her close. I love you. I love you too. They sat down in her apartment, cuddled up, piano in the corner, city lights outside, and for the first time since the bullet, since the mansion, since everything, they were both finally free. The end, Minjay's betrayal, almost cost Amanda her life, didn't it? 5 years of planning, 5 years of hate, and he died believing a lie about the uncle who raised him. That's the real tragedy. Wasting your life destroying someone who never deserved it. If watching Si-hyun wipe out the Russians and Chinese felt like justice, hit that subscribe button. This channel is where villains get exactly what they deserve, and love is worth burning the world down for. Would you take a bullet for someone who destroyed your life to save it? Let us know in the comment, was Minjay a victim or a villain? I want to know what you think there as well. Don't forget to tell us where you are joining us from.